Hello again, get comfortable. I have 3 stories for you today. As always, timestamps are in the description box. Let's jump in. Story number 1. Opie writes, My mother wants the spare keys to my house. I, 25 male, have been dating my girlfriend Lacey, 24 female, for 6 years. When we met, she was a freshman because she became friends with one of my close friends, and I was enamored with her immediately after seeing her. After a couple of years of saving, we decided we wanted to take the next step and buy a house together. Nothing big, just like an apartment or a townhouse. With the help of Lacey's father, we purchased a townhouse a month ago. Now for some background that led to my decision not to give my mom a key. My mother has never liked Lacey. There was and is always a complaint. Her dyed hair, her quote, revealing, unquote, clothes, her clothing style, her facial piercings, her tattoos, etc. The most recent complaint is that Lacey only works a few part-time hours while I work full-time. Lacey is a PhD neuroscience student, but even if she wasn't a student, it's not her business how our dynamic works. If she can't act amicably towards my other half, who has been nothing but kind to her, then I don't want her having access because I know she will intrude. On to the issue. 2 weeks ago, we held a housewarming party for our parents after we were mostly settled in. After dinner, while we were all drinking coffee in the living room, my mom asked me when she would be getting an emergency key. I told her we gave it to our friends because they are closest. That's a lie, we only gave one to Lacey's parents. She got up saying emergency keys are for family only and she needs one. I told her she didn't need one, and if something happened, my friends had access. I could tell it upset her, but she stopped. The next day, I got a call from her, and when I answered, she was wailing, saying she knew, quote, Lacey was up to this, unquote. I told her it was both of our decisions to give the key to our friends, and that Lacey isn't an even villain conspiring against her. She then switched to anger, saying I can't cover for her all the time, to which I hung up. Ever since, I have been getting guilt-trippy texts from my mother and my father about me breaking her heart because I'm shutting her out. Am I the a-hole? Is it really that bad she doesn't have a key? Additional information. I have known my mom is toxic since I developed critical thinking skills as a teenager. It has always been like this, sadly. Let's get a couple of comments with replies from Opie. Not the a-hole. Give her a fake key and I guarantee 100% she will be complaining within days about her quote emergency unquote key not working. Opie replies, I would, except I know that my mom would backfire on Lacey, which isn't fair to her. Someone else comments, not the a-hole. Her anger and insistence are crossing boundaries. Why does she want a key so bad? So she can sneak in, get rid of girlfriend's belongings she doesn't approve of, rearrange the house, snoop? She does not need a key and her behavior shows it. Opie replies, I know my mother like the back of my hand. She'd 1,000,000% use it to snoop. Not my things, Lacey's things, and then probably have a meltdown when she finds grown woman items in a grown woman's closet. We're going to be getting to Opie's updates in a moment. I just want to say, Opie, you're absolutely right. Your mother will snoop. I know this because it happened to people I know. The mother went in the house uninvited, no reason to go there, rearranged furniture as somebody suggested would happen, and also went through the cupboards and found things that she didn't like. And when her daughter-in-law got home, she was sitting there with everything on the table she didn't like, ready to ask her, why do you have this? I don't like that you have this. I don't like that. Get rid of it. You're a bad person. So, Opie, your concerns are absolutely legit. Your mother is going to snoop, she's going to scratch around in Lacey's things and then have a meltdown. Let's get the first of Opie's updates. Well, I took the advice of the comments. I texted my mom something along the lines of, quote, "No, you will not be getting a key, and that is my decision alone, based on your treatment of Lacey through our entire relationship. I do not want to make her feel unwelcome in a home that she also owns. You and I both know that you will go snooping and show up uninvited, and I will not tolerate that. You need to let go of this competition between you and Lacey, because I will always choose Lacey," unquote. But much longer. I'm getting chewed out, but the alternative is my girlfriend and I being walked all over. Update 2. I tried to talk to my dad about it, since my mom is just on an angry rampage. No luck. My mother has escalated to calling/texting Lacey to insult her, so I'm just blocking them both for now. I sent my mom a final text, letting her know I was disappointed that she couldn't consider anyone else's feelings but hers. And if I decided to reach out again, it would be on my time, and that I wouldn't hesitate to re-block if she spoke to Lacey like that again. Update 3. To say that this month has been a crap show is an understatement. I really didn't think I would need to update beyond the ones on my original post, but here we are. As per my original post, I and my partner have been struggling with my mom crossing boundaries, and more specifically, badgering me for a key to our new home. I got a message on Facebook from my uncle around 2-ish weeks ago that my mother was in tears, couldn't sleep, and was a mess. He said that she has tried to contact me, but since I blocked her on everything, it wasn't possible. She wanted to invite us over for an apology dinner. Later, when Lacey returned home from work, I showed her the text and told her that it is up to her whether we go or not, as she is the one who was wronged by my mom. Lacey told me since it was my mother, she wanted to give her another chance. But if my mom did something like this ever again, she was done. I unblocked my mom, and we talked and set up a dinner at her place. When we first arrived, everything was fine. My mom was being respectful and halfway through dinner gave a, quote, sincere, unquote, apology to Lacey. Lacey responded that she appreciated and accepted her apology. My mom's face went sour, and she asked, quote, "Are you also not going to apologize to me?" unquote. Lacey said that she had nothing to apologize for. For some reason, this triggered a massive meltdown on my mom's end. She started screaming incoherently that, quote, "This is what she was talking about," unquote, and she was tired of seeing, quote, "my son be with a she-devil," unquote. Lacey got up, thanked them for the meal, and walked out. I quickly followed behind her as my mom stormed after us, shouting insults, with my dad trying to stop her, attracting the attention of her other neighbors, who now think she's probably crazy. So, as the comments originally suggested, we are back at square one with them blocked. Most likely indefinitely. I would love to leave my dad unblocked, but I know he'd let my mom contact me. Thank you to everyone who commented. I truly wish I could have provided a more happy update. Edit. Some of your comments about my dad have made me a lot more worried about what he's possibly dealing with at home. I'm going to talk to Lacey to see if she's comfortable with me reaching out for my dad alone at his work email, since I know it's less likely for my mom to have access to that. Small update. Lacey does want to move forward and attempt to just contact my dad. As some of you in the comments may have read, Lacey loved my dad a lot. They were close and blocking him has really upset her. I'm just really hoping he does the right thing. Let's get some comments with replies from OP. Sorry you didn't get a better resolution. Hopefully your dad will come to realize that the only way he can have a relationship with you is if he respects the boundaries you have set for your mom. Congrats on the new house and your solid, loving relationship with Lacey. Opie replies, sadly, I don't think he ever will. He has always just done what my mom wants to make his life easier. Thank you for the well wishes. And someone else says, my word, has your mom ever shown such unhinged behavior before Lacey? If not, she might need a psychiatric evaluation. Opie replies, she has, but not on this scale. I think that's because Lacey was the first person I had ever fallen for, and it doesn't help that Lacey is probably one of the coolest people on earth. Like saying I fell in love with her is the understatement of the century. When I first met her, my life was completely flipped upside down. I think my mom realized that, and it just spiraled her into more unhinged behavior because my mom competes to be better for no reason. And she realized that Lacey is a very hard person to compete against, if not impossible. Well, Opie, you did the right thing, setting those boundaries and sticking to them. You know, sometimes parents and the family have reason to be concerned, but this definitely doesn't seem like one of those cases. You and Lacey both seem like very level-headed, intelligent, responsible young adults. Unfortunately, sometimes parents act like children and throw tantrums and they want to stay in control, and this is what you're dealing with right now. It doesn't sound like Lacey has done anything to warrant this kind of dislike from your mom. You did say that your mom has pretty much always been like this, even before Lacey. It's a shame that she sees you so happy and in love with somebody and such a good partner. It really does seem like you've got a good partnership with Lacey. And instead of being happy, your mom is upset and she's trying to sabotage this. It's just so sad that your dad is caught up in all of this as well. It sounds like it's going to take a miracle, Opie, but let's hope that all of this gets sorted out at some point and that there's peace between all of you. Because I'm already thinking about what would happen if you and Lacey should want to get married, should want children maybe one day. It's going to get very difficult with your mother. Story number 2. Opie writes, I, 37, met my ex-husband, 45, at the movies last night. I was there with my boyfriend, 37, and my husband with his fiancée, 25 to 27. When he saw me, he acted like he didn't see me, but his fiancée smiled and came towards us. She congratulated me on my belly, 30 weeks. So my ex-husband reluctantly came over. The fiancée said she didn't know I was expecting and asked her fiancé if he knew. Why didn't you say anything? He just mumbled something. She told me they were engaged and I congratulated them. Boyfriend congratulated them too. And when he shook hands with my ex and wished him luck, ex put the widest smile and said that boyfriend should wish himself good luck for me not to throw him like trash when I'm bored. It became dead silent, and the fiancé was looking daggers at my ex. My ex and I met when I was 20. We got married when I was 25. We had our ups and downs, but for the last 3 to 4 years of our marriage, before it ended in 2020, we had stagnated. Besides the sex, we were growing apart. Sometimes not saying 2 words to each other for days. I didn't know it was bad at the time until I one day found suspicious messages on his phone from a young woman. To my surprise, when I was scrolling down, I didn't feel hurt or anger or resentment, but immense relief. I could finally admit to myself that I wasn't in love with him anymore, and now I knew he's already moved on. I didn't need to feel guilty either. He had fallen out of love with me too. The girl he was texting was his now fiancée. They had an online affair for 2 months since she lived in another city before they decided to meet. I was following all of this as it evolved, watched while they planned the meeting, what she was going to wear, what she liked in bed, you name it. When D-Day arrived and he told me he was going away for a trip, I kissed and hugged him goodbye. I texted him later that I wanted a divorce. He came home the next day and we started talking divorce. At first, he was protesting and doing his part, but not really seriously trying. I told him that he cheated on me and that there's no coming back from that. My best friend knew how everything happened. I found out this morning that she had told my husband that I knew he was going to cheat and didn't stop him because I wanted out. My ex was livid. He felt like I have tricked him and that I have given up on our marriage very easily. Also that he was feeling guilty going behind my back when I knew all along. I mean, can he really think me knowing makes his cheating less cheating? My boyfriend was very standoffish towards me this evening. He was thinking about my ex's words. I came clean and told him everything. And he was kind of alarmed by my reaction. But honestly, until today, I have never even given it a thought that I did anything wrong dealing with our situation. I told my boyfriend that I loved him and that we are a family now and expecting an addition. I don't know what to do. He is very reserved. Should I give it time? Or have I done something wrong and need to make it right? How am I going to make it right? Let's get a couple of comments from OP before we get OP's update. You don't sound like a terrible person to me, but he clearly still has regrets. And probably didn't think you would ever ask for a divorce and to forgive the cheating. I think you did the right thing in letting go. Sucks that your boyfriend now feels uneasy. OP replies, I hope it goes away, or I don't know what to do. I love him very much, and I would hate if we broke up over this. Someone else asks, Info, are you still friends with the woman who told your husband that you knew? I only want to know as they would become my ex-best friend pretty quickly. OP replies, I'm very disappointed at her. She thought she didn't want my ex to win, so she wanted to hurt him, but I was never in a competition. OP, it sounds to me like you and your ex-husband simply drifted apart and there was nothing left to talk about. The relationship was dead long before the two of you talked about divorce. And who knows, maybe your ex-husband wanted his bread buttered on both sides. Maybe he still wanted you as his wife, but also maybe he wanted a girlfriend at the same time. It doesn't really matter now, it's in the past, and it's a real shame that your ex decided to make that comment to your boyfriend. Let's get OP's update. Now I understand why boyfriend was distant with me after ex's episode at the movies the other night. My love was planning to propose this weekend, and he thought that the mood was ruined. Also, he never had all the details about my divorce, more than the fact that we were growing apart for years, and that ex having an affair sealed the deal on separation. Yesterday, Saturday morning, while boyfriend was at the gym, he got a call from ex and they talked. Boyfriend said that the call wasn't an apology, as much as ex trying to explain his anger and resentment. He tried to blame the separation on me again, saying that he loved me still, but that I broke his heart and pushed him into the other woman's arms with my callousness. Boyfriend told him that he still cheated and was the one responsible, because he broke his vows. Besides, seeing how he was engaged to that same woman, it must have been more serious than merely being pushed into her arms. Ex got agitated and told him that he had no other choice, since who would have taken care of him when his wife left him? Surely boyfriend understood that men need women in their lives. Boyfriend answered him that he absolutely disagreed and was fine being alone if he hadn't met the right woman. Ex then became a bit more aggressive, accusing boyfriend and I on cheating since we started dating while I was still divorcing. He added that we even got pregnant while the divorce wasn't finalized yet. That is not what men do to other men and their wives. Boyfriend interrupted him and told him that he wasn't going to listen to this and bade him good day. I'm embarrassed that I ever was in love with that man. Anyway, boyfriend thought that this BS shouldn't ruin his plans, so he proposed in the evening like he planned. He asked me to promise him that if we ever grow apart and fall out of love, we'll tell each other about it, do our best to fix it, or separate as friends, because he never wanted to hate or resent me. He promised me the same, and that he will never hide his true feelings from me. I think this could work, don't you think? So, this is my update. To the incel who wished me to abort my son at 30 weeks because I wasn't married, I'm sad to tell you that as much as I wanted a bastard, my son won't be one for long. Have a great Sunday. Opie, good for you, congratulations, and to think you thought your boyfriend was going to break up with you and instead he ended up proposing. I'm wondering why your ex-husband is now engaged. What is the story? Does he really love his fiancée? Because this comment kind of threw me from a 45-year-old man saying who was going to take care of him when his wife left. Buddy, frozen meals, 2-minute noodles, laundromats, cleaning service, etc. If that is what you mean, pay somebody to do that for you. Please don't use this, women. And Opie, that also kind of gives you an answer over there, because I think your ex wanted to keep you around to have you take care of him while he would have a girlfriend. Let's move on to our final story, story number 3. I, 28 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 30 female, for 2 months. I think we have a good relationship. She has a son, 11 male. My girlfriend and I were good friends for a few years. We met through mutual friends, and so I haven't spent time with her alone until 5 months ago. I knew she had a son because she posted about him on Facebook a few times. He has some sort of liver condition and was awaiting a liver transplant. It's just him and his mom. I don't know much about him, as my girlfriend is very reserved talking about her son. I have a little sister, 26 female. I have always been closer to her than other siblings, considering we're only a few years apart. When she was 11, we were fighting at school and she ended up fainting. She had to stay in the hospital for a few days to have some tests done, and she ended up being diagnosed with diabetes, not related to her death. I think it changed the dynamic of our relationship a lot because she was in hospital a lot more than other kids. At the start of September, my girlfriend's son started getting sicker, and it was the first time she ever opened up to me about his health conditions. In early October, my sister got into an accident. It was very sudden, and because she still lives near my parents, they were heartbroken, and they don't have any children apart from my sister and I. So I went to help them. I grew up in Australia, and my sister and my family still live there. I live in America currently. For the funeral and to console my mum and dad, I decided to stay there for 10 days to help plan the funeral. On my second day there, I got a call from my girlfriend. She said her son had passed away during the night. I tried to help her the best I could, even though I was already sad about the death of my sister. She said she wanted the funeral to be done soon, and that it would happen on the 6th day of my 10-day trip. My sister's funeral was on the 8th, and I wasn't going to take 2 flights to there and 2 flights back in less than 2 days to go to both. My girlfriend got really upset and said that I didn't care about her son. I was upset at her too, because I had just lost my sister. She told me that her son thought of me like a dad, and I'd never met him, so I told her I didn't think of him like a son. She hung up angrily, and we haven't spoken since. I'll admit I was harsh telling her, and a grieving mother didn't deserve that. However, I don't think I was wrong to push the idea of me being this kid's dad. All my mutual friends think I'm the a-hole for not going, and that I should have told her later. but she knows I've never met her son, and I wouldn't ditch my sister's funeral to go to her son's. My friends, though, think I did the right thing, and I wasn't obligated to go to his funeral. I don't know what I should have done. I'm glad I went to my sister's funeral, but I feel bad for how I told my girlfriend, as her son's never had a father figure in his life. OP, I'm so sorry for your loss, and I'm sorry for your girlfriend's loss as well. Both of you are going through a very, very emotional thing at the moment. You're grieving. She lost her son. You lost your sister prematurely and very suddenly. However, I don't think it's fair for her to have expected you to fly all the way back to America from Australia to attend her son's funeral. I understand that she would have liked you there, but it's just impossible. You have other obligations. You have to pay your respects to your sister and support your parents. I'm sure your girlfriend does have support over there in America, helping her through her son's funeral, the death, etc. Your parents needed you, and you needed to be there. So I do find it's unreasonable of her. And look, grief is a thing that can really make people irrational because everybody's very upset and emotional. And sometimes you say things that you don't mean or things that don't even make sense. In this case, you're correct. It doesn't make sense for her to say her son thought of you as a father when you never even met her son. It could be that she was starting to think of you as a future father to her son, but I doubt it that her son felt that way. This is the kind of thing, OP, that's either going to bring the two of you together and make you stronger together, or you are going to split up once you get back to America. Let's get some comments. Not the a-hole, definitely. All the "you are the a-holes" are coming from delusional people. Could you have put it in nicer terms? Yes. But was she emotionally blackmailing and guilt-tripping you? Also yes. Sorry for your loss, OP. Someone else comments, some people who remain geographically close to their family think that those of us who aren't, who can move around the world far away from our family of origin, aren't emotionally close to our family. They sometimes make very bad assumptions that the family we've moved away from really aren't that important to us. And a final comment. I get grief is horrible, but the expectation that he wouldn't be there for his sister's funeral is absolutely nuts. Did she ever offer to come over and support Opie? Well, that's it for now. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you did like this, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps me a lot. Consider subscribing, leave a comment, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.